just, yeah, putting in the miles is the main goal.
And if I can if I can say something, Olivia has been extremely inspiring to the staff here at the Owen Sound Regional Hospital, not only the staff in the mental health program where she's supporting, but in other programs as well. And we've had some volunteers step forward to say they will help Olivia not only in her training, but also as she's pacing on the day she does her marathon. So Olivia's really been inspiring for a lot of hospital staff. She's such a brave young woman to talk about her mental health struggles and also to give back to the community.
Also, Amy, this is an incredible amount of money that is being raised. How is that going to support the services that you have at the hospital?
Yeah, so Olivia can speak better to this than I can, but having a safe and healing environment is so important to patients who are dealing with mental illness. And the funds that Olivia is raising will go towards that, ensuring patients' experiences maximize the healing opportunities that we can have. So with the funds that Olivia's raised, they'll be spending it on materials and resources, things like art therapy, yoga, other healing opportunities, potentially furniture, that type of thing. We have here is going to impact patients like herself.
Well, that is really important in our community because we do know, particularly through the COVID-19, that people are experiencing more mental health issues. And it's really comforting to know that we have such a supportive resource at the hospital for child and youth and adult mental health issues.
For sure. It is definitely very scary being admitted to the hospital, especially on the first time when you're young. You are not sure what's going on. And oftentimes kids come in without a toothbrush or deodorant or even socks. So it's nice to just be able to be given some of those resources to make you feel physically better. And then you can start to work on your mental health.
And when, if I may ask this, the resources that you have for mental health, were you part of art therapy and yoga and other means of building your wellness?
Yeah, so the staff on the child and adolescent mental health unit always tried to engage us in art therapy. That was a big one for a lot of people. It's a great way to relieve stress and just not think about anything and just paint or color or other stuff like that. So that was a really great resource that they have. Sometimes the staff would pull up yoga videos and we would use yoga mats and just do yoga or exercise as well. They would help us like run down the halls or do push-ups or other exercises, because you can't really go anywhere if you're just confined to your room. So yeah, the staff have been really great at trying to engage us in different activities. A major help to that would be having more money to have the resources to do other activities.
This is an amazing story, an amazing journey that you're on. Do you have some words of wisdom to give to families who might feel as if they have a family member that is struggling right now? Is there some signs or some symptoms that people should be watching out for?
For sure, the biggest thing is to make sure you're talking to your family members. I know for me, I was never a very talkative person. I'm very quiet and reserved, which didn't help when trying to figure out my mental health struggles. So just making sure you're talking to your quieter family members, even if they seem like they're all right. Some people are very good at hiding it. And then, yeah, it's just best to have open communication about it and not be afraid to talk about mental health because it might be scary to go through, but it's not a scary thing. And it doesn't make you a scary person if you have mental health struggles. So just talking is definitely the best way.
Well, that is really, really good advice. And Amy, do you have anything that you want to contribute to that?
Well, we are so proud of Olivia for a variety of reasons. We're proud that she reached out to the foundation and wanted to give back to her community. I think it can't be underestimated what a leader Olivia is being in our community in not only raising funds to help with that safe and healing environment that's so important to people with mental illness, but also being a leader in saying, yes, I have a mental illness. Yes, I struggled. And yes, I asked for help. And look at me now. I'm in university. I'm very successful. I know coping strategies. She has spoke a little bit about how she finds exercise to be extremely helpful as she deals with mental illness or not now during her day-to-day life. Mental illness isn't something that necessarily goes away and you just be like, oh, I was in the hospital for 5 days, I'm done now. For many people, this is a lifelong challenge. And I think Olivia stepping up is inspiring to the community. We're so proud to be associated with Olivia. We're grateful that she reached out to the foundation and wanted to give back. We're excited we were able to think of what a unique virtual triathlon that Olivia was able to do. Olivia has raised $10,000, over $10,000, and going strong. We have not closed the fundraising. We're going to see how far it goes. And I think Olivia was sort of surprised how much the community rallied behind her. In the beginning, as you can imagine, the first about $2,500 was raised from Olivia's community, from her friends, from her family, from people who she knew. And as we went through the fundraiser, as community members found out about it, we had community members who did not know Olivia make a donation and send her very kind messages, which we have sent out to Olivia. Message of encouragement, message of gratitude that she was brave enough to step forward and say, I had a mental illness when I was a youth, and this is what I'm doing, and now I'm giving back. So what a wonderful thing Olivia is doing, what a wonderful young woman Olivia is, and we're just so thrilled and proud to be associated with Olivia.
Well, it's always really interesting when I see the strength of young people that emerge into leadership at a very early age, because we certainly need those role models within our community for people to understand that leadership isn't just an adult thing, that leadership can emerge at any age and at any stage. And it's wonderful to see Olivia step forward and chart that path forward for herself. The other thing too I wanted to ask Amy is, how can people donate? People who are listening to this program and would be very inspired by it will want to contribute. So how do they make those donations?
So you can go online to our website, oshfoundation.ca, and there's a link right off the front page where you can click on Olivia's Challenge and make a donation. You can always call the foundation office at 519-372-3925, and we can take your donation over the phone as well. Both ways of donating give you an opportunity to give Olivia some encouraging messages as well.
Olivia, well, I think think what we are trying to do as a community is remove any kind of stigma around mental health. And the more that we are speaking about it and treating it as an ordinary, health issue like we would a broken arm or a broken leg, and just accept that people at all ages and stages may go through some difficult times, and that there are resources in our community to support them. So, a lot of credit goes to you, Olivia, for starting this fundraiser and initiating this outpouring of support from our community. And you're doing such a great job. And what impressed me so much when I first saw you come on the screen is this absolutely engaging smile that you have.
Thank you very much.
Olivia, you mentioned that you're in school now, you're off in university. Where are you, and how are you finding being at school? And are there resources at your school that you can draw on as well?
So I'm second year at King's University, which is at Western. It's a small campus in London. It is very challenging, I find, online school this year, but it's going well. It's good. In terms of mental health resources, it is more difficult this year since not a lot of things are open in person. And personally, I'm not very good at like talking to a therapist over Zoom or Skype. I definitely need the face-to-face interaction in person. So it has been a challenge that way. And I find a lot of people are saying the same things, but it's been okay.
Good for you. And I was just wondering, with only 2 beds available to youth who are in a crisis, is there any plans to expand that here at our local hospital? Just thinking that I know our numbers are growing for people that are experiencing challenges and need that help. Is there any plan to expand our department?
Certainly, Grey Bruce Health Services would be thrilled if the Ministry of Health approved expanding those child and youth mental health beds. We do know there's a need for more beds in our community. So we're hopeful, sometime in the future. We have no concrete approval from the ministry, but we are hopeful that one day we would have, say, 4 beds instead of the 2 we have today.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I mean, the whole idea of exercise, is that something, I don't know, Olivia, I'm thinking that in our school systems, do they have any programs where we're getting kids to exercise specifically to help with mental health issues?
I know definitely the younger grades, there are a lot of physical activity options. My mom works at a primary school, and there's a lot of playtime or gym time or a lot of different resources like little bikes to run around on or equipment to play on. The kids might not know it's for their mental health, but it definitely improves their mental health or even just their ability to sit still all day in the classroom. In high school, I wouldn't say as much. There isn't those resources, same with university, but a lot of kids that age are better at knowing what they need and are responsible for their own exercise, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show today to talk to us about this and to make everybody aware of your fundraising activities and where they can contribute. And I think a lot of people will be very surprised to hear that we've got 2 beds for all of our area, and maybe talk to their local politicians about, we need to support people and to get these resources ramped up for sure, especially under COVID-19. Are you thinking of going into mental health in a professional capacity in the future?
Yeah, so I'm currently working towards my Bachelor of Social Work, and then I will hopefully get my master's, and then my plan is to work in a mental health hospital with youth.
That is amazing. And you know what? I think when you can relate to people with your own personal experience, that is huge. I think people feel connection to, someone who has gone through some of the same issues. So that congratulations, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Success. And I know schooling from online can be very challenging. Been there, done that. It's not easy. And we will most definitely, I think Mary Jane will agree, we will like to have you back in the spring before your big run, and we'll touch base and see how things are going, and get the new numbers, because I have a feeling it's going to go through the roof.
Amazing.
Well, we want to say thank you to both of you for coming today and sharing this with us. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week on Grey County Life at Home. And hopefully Charlie will be dry by then, although I don't know.
Bye now.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Don't forget to tune in to Grey County Life at Home on Rogers next week.
We're going to be talking to Aidan Ware from the Tom Thompson Art Gallery.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university, so they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old